Cheers, legends. Sammy from Short and Stout Beer Reviews, joined here by Stuart, the Fish Whisperer. How are you, brother?
I am fine, brother. How are you?
Very good. Good to see you again. And it's quite a thrill to drink a Scotch ale with a Scotsman, must I
Well,
say.
thank you for having me up.
Yeah,
The beer in question is this.
you can introduce it if you like.
It is McEwan's Champion. It is an award-winning premium beer. It's a 500 ml bottle. It's 7.3% alcohol volumes. So it's like a medium heavy.
Yeah.
Um,
And yeah,
so
originally from Edinburgh in Scotland, but yeah, it seems like they brew it in quite a few different places these days.
yeah,
But
they've
by
been
the
all
look
over.
of it, we've both got one out of Wolverhampton, and it says Carlsberg Marston's Brewery.
Yep. And the believe it or not, I bought this bottle the last time that Sam and I had a hangout. My date on this is the 30th of June 2025.
Yeah,
That's my expiry date.
yeah. Well,
And
mine is the 31st of March, 2025. So mine's
so
a little bit
yours is
older than
slightly
yours.
you're
Yeah,
slightly older, but
yeah.
so
I mean, the fact that it's come out to Australia, it's probably been sitting in a warehouse for a bit longer, and yeah, yeah. But yeah, let's crack it, dude, and pour it.
well, I've already cracked the top, so I need to go and pour it now. So
Oh, yeah, no worries. Give it a pour. And cheers to everyone in the chat. I'll go through the names
cheers,
quickly.
brothers and
We've
sisters
got
and aunties and
Paul,
uncles and mums and dads.
we've got Stewie, we've got Lee, we've got Joey, we have Slurpy. How are you all? Good to see you.
I'm not going to put the full pint. I want to try and keep some in the glass.
And funny thing
Some in the
is I've
bottle.
got a Scottish glass brew dog.
Brew dog.
The thing that's pretty cool though is on the back it says suited for, and it's got different styles, and it says Scotch ale, so that's pretty cool. Oh, looks good.
Now, I know that Sammy's camera is slightly
Yeah,
different, but
yeah,
I'll try and like hide the Dad's Pint logo.
yeah,
But that's like the color it is.
yeah. See, mine
Yeah.
will look real dark. It's hard to
You
get
got a
that.
head
It's
on you, don't
definitely
you? It's just went
in
like
real light.
this.
Like looking at yours, it's mine. Yeah, it looks like it's sort of dark amber. It's got
Yeah.
like a reddish tinge.
Yeah. It's definitely got that tinge because I just like seen it like reflect off
Yeah,
whatever light. So
yeah.
yeah, it's
It's
definitely
so
red.
annoying. Like I'm looking at it going, it's clearly like a reddish tinge, but in the camera it just looks black.
Yeah, it's definitely got a red
So when you're
tinge.
looking up through your glass, it's like a red colour that
Yeah,
you
it's
see.
it's definitely a red tinge.
Yeah. Well, we'll go a smell, shall we?
Yeah.
So what are you getting? You go first. Or would you like me to go first?
I'll let you go first for a change, Sammy.
Yeah. So I'm getting a huge malt backbone.
Oh yeah.
It's like real sweet, like toffee. And then you're getting like a sort of like dried fruit. Like
Uh,
I'm getting sort of like apricot or something like that.
I'm getting like a raisin.
Yep, yep,
I'm getting like a date raisin type of thing.
yep. Yeah, it's definitely got that sort of thing going on. Yeah, it's mainly like big sort of like toffee though. That's what most of it is. Yeah, but that fruity edge is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like your prune, your raisin, your date, and I reckon even some apricot. Smells good.
It's
Do you
gorgeous.
reckon it smells boozy?
Not overly.
Nah. It's sort of
Not
it
overly big.
seems like it's that good level, I reckon.
Yeah.
Hmm. And non-appearance, like, would you say? I would say that's medium body.
Yeah, that's definitely. Well, okay, my head's
Yeah,
like can disappear,
yeah.
but I mean,
When I first poured it, it was sort of 1 to 2 finger. But yeah, it's quite clear as well. Like with the reddish tinge, you can sort of see through it.
yeah, you can definitely see through it.
Yeah.
So it's like it's
I like
delicious.
the smell of it. It's good. It's definitely got that malty sweetness.
Oh yeah. It's like they put malt extract or something. Kind of like you know what I mean?
Mm.
Like it's like they went through some kind of malt extract type of thing.
I'm not getting really any sort of like green character. Like I'm not getting like any earth or grass or anything like
Mm.
that. Like whatever hops they just use them as like more of a bitterness thing. You wouldn't really get too much flavour from the hops. It'd be all about the like the malt. But yeah, let's go in, brother.
Go on and cheers.
Cheers. It's quite smooth.
Very smooth.
Yeah, it's like some of the scores I've seen people give it, I thought that's ridiculous. That seems a bit low. Um, and then you're saying that it's like, yeah, really, really high. I think it's good, but for me it's sort of that in between.
Hmm.
Yeah, the malty sweetness is really good. It's got that like sticky toffee character. Um, yeah, what are you getting from it?
Definitely like a raisin taste, like a
Yeah.
dark, deep, dark fruit kind of like as you said, like the notes are still
There
there.
maybe even be another thing I might be getting slightly is like a nutty sort of edge.
I'm tasting that because it's like
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't getting it on the nose, but in the flavour. Yeah.
yeah, you definitely get it in the flavor. So it's like
Yeah. I like the mouthfeel. It's quite full.
that's
Mm.
I mean that's I mean for
is this one drinking just as good as what it normally does? Like
oh
are
yeah
you enjoying this, yeah, as much as you had the last one? Yeah,
oh
cool.
yeah. I mean I would never doubt a champion. I would never.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen it's like one of those drinks where you're wanting to have a beer that you want to enjoy. This is
Yeah.
like this is it for me.
The more I'm drinking it, I'm getting a slightly like a grainy base as well as the toffee.
Hmm.
It's only sort of it's only subtle compared to the toffee, but yeah, that'd just be another sort of malt characteristic.
I'm not saying licorice, but what I'm thinking is treacle. I'm thinking like
Yeah, like
treacle.
molasses.
Yeah,
Yeah, that. Yep, yep. Yeah, I definitely see that.
it's like because when you drink it, once you like swallow it, it's like your mouth's still like full of flavor, and
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
you want more.
yeah.
It's
It's
like
got a sort
more.
of a pleasant aftertaste, and yeah, it's quite moreish, and yeah,
Mhm.
you want to keep going back to it. Ah, it's it's quite a joy. I'm liking it.
I knew you wouldn't be disappointed.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a beer that you could have anywhere. You know what
yeah.
I mean? It's like one of those ones you could just like sit and have all the company.
I tell you where this would be really nice if you had this sort of in the autumn time on cask. It'd be phenomenal, I reckon. Yeah,
I don't know I don't know how it actually gets brewed. That's the thing. I don't actually know how it
yeah.
gets brewed. But even when you smell you've had a drink and you taste it, it's like when you go back, it's like the smell still. It's like I'm here.
Yeah, I like a lot of Scotch ales too can be quite harsh. Like they can be really, really boozy and sort of, especially if
Oh
you're
yeah.
not used to them, they can be a bit overbearing. But I feel like this one, even if you haven't had a Scotch ale before, you could probably still drink this and think it's pretty good.
Oh, definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
okay, I know I've got no head left on on my pint, but I mean, it's I don't really care about head. It's the flavor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the flavor that counts. This
Nah,
is just
most good beers, like, yeah, after you poured it for a while and had a smell and a drink and that, like, yeah, it doesn't really matter about the head. It always sort of dissipates. I mean, mine, it's actually sticking around a fair
it's just gone.
bit.
Mine's just, mine's just headless.
But yeah, it's one thing, yeah, like obviously, because yeah, you're not so much beer connoisseur. You don't mind a beer like this. Yeah, it's good to sort of hear like the way you've sort of described, yeah, the notes and
I mean, to me, there's
yeah,
definitely.
cool.
I wouldn't say toffee. It's more like treacle
Yeah,
because you can still smell it even when you've had a taste of it. You can still smell it.
yeah. It's good going
It's like
back and smelling it though, isn't it? Like you have a smell, you sip it a few times, then you smell it again, and it's amazing sometimes the changes you get.
oh yeah, I mean,
Mm. There's a
like I
few
say,
more
I
people
have
that
a.
have joined.
By the way, for people in chat, I'm going to say something. If I come in with a 4.7, that's a standing joke with me and Sammy. It's a standing joke. It really, it really is a standing joke.
So
But then
Slurpy's saying in the chat that Champion's pretty cheap over there.
I was £1
Yeah, I was
99 for that
actually
bottle.
going to ask you how much it cost.
£2 a bottle.
Yeah, no, that's good. See, a beer like that for that price, you could have them in the fridge all the time. It'd be a good beer to
Mm-hmm.
have sitting there.
This is a sin. I mean, as I said when the last time we were on a like a hangout, when I got the two bottles because this is the second one. The problem with going to a shop, you think, "Oh, what beer is like a good beer?" I mean, I was on about I had a discussion about what do you call it? Newcastle Brown.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a nice beer. I'll admit it's a nice beer, but there's better ones, and it's
yeah.
like,
It's
well, where do
certainly
you
not the
go?
beer it used to be either. Like it's changed heaps over the years.
It's changed. It's changed, and it's like I would rather have an original. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Where okay, this has probably been going round and bought over and went round and bought over ever since 2008, but they've always held uh, the same flavor. You know what I
yeah.
mean? They've always kept the same recipe, which is how it should be.
Mm.
So I would go for a bottle of this over a bottle of dog.
Yeah. Yeah, well, looking at the like just the description for the beer when I was trying to work out where it's actually brewed, it looks like McEwen was sort of the original, and then it changed to is it Charles Wells or something like that, and then
Bog
another
told
one
me,
was I think it was Eagle Brewing, or there was so many different names involved. But yeah,
man, no cat.
obviously Carlsberg Marston would be like macro.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
it's, but I mean when it
Cheers
originated from
to
Edinburgh.
cheers to Skeeter and Nunya and Urban Viking too that have just joined.
Well,
Good to see
Skeeter's
you.
from probably from either mine or bulk share out.
All things country. That they're from yours, aren't they? They joined
They're
last
from
night.
mine. That's
Yeah.
Brad. Brad's All Things Company.
All things.
all things country. He's Brad. He's from my end. Skeeter's from Balkanized end.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm having this, and but as I said, I would rather if somebody's going to like say, "Oh, do you fancy beer?" Like, yeah, what? But it's like, what beer do you want? It's like I want something that's like nice,
Yeah.
not overly heavy. Because as I said in previous conversations I've had with you, um, I was in Glasgow train station. Glasgow Central train station. There's a little pub in the corner, and they were on about like different Bellhavens. I mean, the one that you got on draft, which is on the bar, which is like a bog standard keg, but it had glass bottles behind the bar in the fridge. And I was like, I need to try them. I mean, it went from like another step up from one they would have on the keg, and then another step up from that was like this. Then the one after this, it was like proper heavy, and I'm talking. You're sitting there. It was
Yeah.
like you were
Like
chewing
a
it.
meal.
It was like exactly you were. It was like worse than what you could think of, man. I was like, oh man, do I really have to? Like, oh. Then you
Yeah.
go back to the first one just to try and wash down what you were
Mm.
what you were drinking to start with.
Yeah, I've had a
None of
couple of
it.
beers from that Bellhaven, but I think they're sort of similar. I think they're like owned by a macro company too. A lot of a lot of these traditional UK breweries have been purchased by like big conglomerates now, so they're sort of not the same.
I mean, it's like when I have a laugh and a joke with my American friends. I mean, I turn around and said to them, I says, "Oh, you guys have got moonshine across there," and like, yeah, we've got moonshine. I was like, so basically, what you've done is you've taken R2D2 and CP3O and turned them into distillery. Because I seen a photo of that on like when they arrived in Ireland, they got turned into a distillery across there too, and it was like, yep, they've done the same thing in Scotland. They've just taken two tin cans and like, here's the distillery, that'll do, that'll work.
Yeah. So
But I tell you what,
what's another Scottish beer that you're a fan of apart from this one?
I mean, I'm a
See,
Bellhaven fan.
another one I hear all the time, Innis and Gunn. Are you a fan of their stuff? Yeah.
They're nice. They're
Yeah.
based in Edinburgh too.
Yeah.
But they're like it's like another macro. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
the problem with Scotland, right? As a brewing country, we're good at it, but we're renowned for whiskey. So it's like when you start going around like malts and whatever else, because that's where it's like where you get all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, where do you start? This is like the problem. You can go to this distillery not far from where I am. It's the last one on Angus, and they were like, "Ah, well, we can do a 10-year-old malt, a 12-year-old malt, a 15-year-old malt, an 18-year-old malt, a 21-year-old malt, and then they've got one that's like up to 30. I got like 21 to 25 to 30. 20, there might be a 27, I think. But it's like 30-year-old malt. I was like, so the 30-year-old malt is nearly enough the same age as me. Right. I'm over 30. I will be honest. I don't look it, but I'm over 30. But it's like, where do you start when it comes to a malt? You know what I mean? Like, it's like beer. Where does where do you start before you can say, right, well, you can level it up? Because I mean,
Yeah.
I've had more American beers like some Budweiser, Miller's, Bud Light. I've had that. I've had Coors. You know what I mean? I've had like what you'd go to like if you're going to buy a crate of beer because then you're going to be spending
I
it with
was
your
only
friends.
drinking that earlier.
Well, there you go. It's the same thing. It's like I mean, there's nothing wrong with Miller's. I
Yeah.
mean between Miller's and Budweiser, they're the only two the ones I would actually drink.
Yeah.
above Coors and Bud Light and whatever else. They're the only two that I would go for. If I'm in a party, do you know what I mean? But this, I would like have if I'm sitting watching the football or just wanting to relax. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like high flyers on
Like
YouTube.
something like this, I'm going to take every day of the week over those American beers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I mean, as I said, Scotland's renowned for whiskey, so it's like, well, when you start doing
yeah,
a beer, it's like, well, where do you go? And then
yeah,
when Brewdog comes along, and it's like they come up with IPAs, and I know that you're a huge IPA fan. You know what I mean? All the different ones, but it's like, where's the rock solid beer? Where does actually like
yeah.
who would you go for? Because it's like a
Brewdog
huge
were
split
really good
between.
when they first come out, but now they're trash. Their beers are
I
real
mean,
watered down, and yeah, they're no good.
this is the problem. You've hit the nail on the head there. That everything's been watered down. It's like you're looking for a beer that's got pine and
Yeah,
good things in it that you love because I know how
yeah,
your tongue operates. But to me, it's like
mm,
I want something that's like punchy.
yeah,
Like I've known that I've had a beer,
yeah,
but it's not over powerful. It's
yeah,
like you
yeah,
know that you've had you're having two beers and it's like, well, that's fine. I can go to my bed now. You know what I mean?
yeah. And it's
But
just a difference. Like I'm only looking for all that other shit just because I'm an experienced like drinker. Like, whereas you only have a drink every now and then. So it's just different beers for different people. But at the end of
yeah,
the day, yeah, the fact that you're leaning more towards something like this is good. Yeah,
I mean, I would lean more towards that because I know the percentage might be in the middle.
yeah,
But when I watched your 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 four your 4 day bonanza, right, when it
yeah,
came to the Ramjets,
yeah,
the last one to me, it was like you'd only drink that on your own.
yeah.
You couldn't go to a party or a
No, no,
function.
no, 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 no,
You know what I
no
mean?
way.
There's no way you
For
could go to.
starters, you for starters, you'd have to be a millionaire if you had about
Well,
10
that's
of
what I'm
them.
saying. It's like I mean, you'd only have to drink that one on your own. I
Yeah,
mean, it's not like you could go to a function and just say, "Oh,
yeah,
um, I fancy that." You know what I mean?
yeah,
It
yeah.
doesn't work.
Unless it was a situation where, say someone like me and Craig caught up,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
that they would be the sort of beers we'd be drinking, but we'd be sharing them, and we'd have
yeah,
like a
yeah.
heap
That's
of
not.
different.
That's not.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. It's not like you could like go to a
you
function
can't
where
set
you are.
yeah. The word you're looking for is session. You can't session
Yeah,
those
yeah,
beers.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
Or well, a session
It's a
or even
one. What we call them is one and done. You have the one, and then yeah.
I mean,
They're sort of like a nightcap. Like beers like that, they're special beers. There's a lot goes into them. They can be quite boozy, full of like different ingredients and that. So quite often, if you're having a session, you'd only have
mhm.
one of them sort of either early in the night, and then you'd move on to something else, or you'd finish on something like that.
I
There's
mean,
no way you'd sit there drinking that sort of stuff all night.
no.
You'd be a mess.
I mean, see, this is the thing. If you were to go out on like just a pub crawl, you know what I mean, like a session. If you're going to go on a pub crawl, I mean, would you start off with something really heavy, then end up something light because that you know that your stomach's like already full from all the goodness from the
Yeah.
beer that you just had, or do
Most
you,
of the
as you
time,
said,
yeah, you start on lagers or pale ales or sort of smaller beers and then work your way up.
yeah? So it's like, I mean,
Mm.
I mean, to me, to finish on a heavy beer, and then if you're going to go to bed, that's lying in your stomach, and it's like, and then you wake up and you feel that yeast inside you, like you're not
Yeah.
hungry, you're not thirsty, and it's like you've got this whole baggage, and it's like you're walking around with it. I mean, I've been there with Guinness.
Yeah.
I did I did a pub. I was meant to be a pub crawl with my mum, but it didn't happen. Something happened to her friend's son, so she went away home. So I was left in the pub with my mum and a couple of her workmates, and I seen one of them, and he's like, "You want a drink?" And I went, "Well, go on then." He says, "What you want?" And says, "Well, you just have Bellhaven Best." But I says, "What are you drinking?" He's like, "Oh, I'm drinking Guinness." So I'll have a pint of that then. So I stuck with Guinness all night, ended up with 8 pints of it, a gallon,
Yeah.
right? So there's like in the morning, I woke up and I was like, I didn't want to drink nothing, didn't want to eat nothing. And of course, went to my dad and I was like, "It's like you hungry?" He went, "No." "You want something?" "Nope." It's like, "I don't want nothing to drink. I want nothing to eat." And he went, "What were you drinking last night?" I was like, "I was drinking Guinness." He went, "No wonder you're not wanting nothing." He says, "Drinking Guinness isn't a drink. You're drinking food. It's full of
Yeah.
yeast. No wonder you're bloated." And I was like,
Mm.
man, I couldn't move. It was just like, when you like, it's like having a huge meal, and it's like you just want to be left alone.
You probably slept well.
Yeah, I slept like a baby for 8 pints of Guinness. And I was like, wow.
Mm.
It was like
Yeah.
zonkled.
In my hometown, when I used to live with a couple of mates, we used to have a midweek drink. So we'd all finish work for the night, and then we'd go and have a bar meal,
Mm-hmm.
and we'd get on the Guinness because this particular pub had like cheap Guinness pints. And quite often we'd have 6 to 8 pints, and this is on a weeknight. And yeah, you'd wake up to go to work on Thursday and you'd be so rusty.
I mean, with this, it's like you can
And
go to
yeah,
your bed
just
and
real
it's not too
bloated
bad.
and full and
But this
So
is
yeah, with
beautiful.
this one, dude, I reckon I'd score this probably 4.2. And that's not a low score. For a beer like this, that is a pretty
Mm-hmm.
good score. So yeah, don't think that I don't rate it. For a Scotch ale, I think it's actually pretty good. I'm quite happy with it. But it's just
I
when
mean,
it comes to my
and what?
scores, it's a lot of it the style can make a difference with
Mhm.
what I actually score. Yeah, I'm quite impressed with it. Like it's definitely a beer I'd have again. If I lived where you did, I'd probably have these in the fridge all the time.
Well, this is. I mean, as I've said to Bulk. I mean, as you know, I speak to Bulk every day on the phone, right? And I've said to him, it says, whatever Sammy says off of this, I'm going to take, like, okay, we're at least we're over the 4. You know what I mean? If I can
Yeah,
get him over
yeah,
the 4. So
yeah,
basically, if Sammy was to, like, as you say, come here, you would prefer these probably over most things that are across here
yeah,
because you can go to the supermarket, you can get them.
yeah.
But I mean, to get something like a Ramjet, that would be like a treat once in a blue moon.
Yeah, so that
That
and that's why I don't want you to sort of take offence and think that I've been given all these beers massive scores out of 5. I drink a lot of very hyped, overly expensive stuff. So to have something like this that's a reasonable price
hmm
and it's a particular style that quite often doesn't get rated as high. What I'm trying to say is for the style and the price, I really
hmm
appreciate it and actually think it's quite decent. But yeah,
And the thing is,
it's
you could
never
have
going to get
more of
the same
these.
score
You could have
as
more.
some like big barrel aged impy stout, and that's just how it is.
I mean, to me, if they would do this, right, I would like to know what they would do with a bar if it was barrel aged.
Yeah,
You know what I
you
mean?
can
I've
definitely
heard.
you can definitely get barrel aged Scotch ales.
I mean,
Um,
I'd like to see what would happen this in a barrel.
yeah, one thing you should do, like I feel like someone like Innes and Gunn or one of those might even do like that sort of thing you're after. It'd be worth looking
I
into, I reckon.
mean, that's just what I said to you in one of the comments. I mean, I know that okay, the standing joke is that you don't keep up the chat. I mean, I'm not gonna. I mean, that's
Yeah,
just another standing joke.
yeah,
But I mean, one of the beers that you had the other day, I was like, well, surely they could put it in a whiskey cask, an empty whiskey cask, and just leave it to see what would happen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like this. It's like this stuff. I mean, you could probably put this in a whiskey cask, an empty whiskey cask, and leave it to soak
Yeah. Yeah.
for a
The
couple of
whiskey,
years.
like, yeah, like if you had a Scotch ale in a Scottish like whiskey barrel just sitting for like 5 years, yeah, you'd get
Hmm
some really good notes from that. It'd be good.
I think it would be. I mean, it depends on the cask as well. I mean, this is the thing. People across you are like, oh, it's only oak cask. We get cherry, we get oak, cherry, and I think there's another. I think there's another one, but I can't remember the make of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, they get three different barrels of different wood,
Yeah.
and it's like,
Normally, the main two are normally American oak and French oak.
mm,
Yeah.
we've got oak and we've got cherry. Because the reason I know this is because Grant's whiskey, they have got different wood for their different brands. Well, it's still the same brand, but it's for different whiskies that they come out with. It gets
Yeah.
cast in different wood, and it's like what I'm would say is if a brewery across here would say, well, okay, there's an empty cask of the three different kinds of wood, empty them out, and then put beer like this in it, or get a hold of Bellhaven Best and just say, well, instead of having your stout beer, that's like your, I can't even remember the percentage of it. I know it's in double figures. Hey Shane, um, it's like, where would you go to put this? So I mean, I'd take this and get three different empty casks, fill it up with either this or Bellhaven Best, or a Bellhaven beer to put in that cask and just leave it for, as you say, 5 years, and then
Yeah.
we'll
It'd
see
be
what
interesting to
happens.
see how it go.
I mean,
But
it's like
yeah,
some of the
I
beers.
think that's something you should look into. I reckon. I mean, you're probably not going to get it with some of the macro breweries, but even some of your local craft, they might do some barrel aged Scotch ales, and yeah, it'd be quite
I mean,
nice.
I don't
Like,
even know.
imagine I seen one of the comments up earlier. Yeah, sherry. Imagine a sherry, like a
That's
sherry Scotch
that's
ale.
what I'm saying. A sherry cask. It's a
Yeah,
sherry cask.
that'd be good. Yeah,
It's not cherry. It's a sherry. Sorry, I got an S
yeah,
between an S and a C wrong. Sorry, it's a
yeah.
sherry cask.
No, well, there's cherry wood, so yeah, but cherry wood's normally used for smoke, like say smoked beers and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
it's there's so many ways and means you could cover this. You know what I mean? It's not just a case of like. I mean, you go to a supermarket. I mean, in bulk. I was actually on a video called The Bulk. His mate picked them up, and there's like this drive-through beer place. You can
yeah.
go there in a car and just like, oh,
That's a regular thing in Australia.
and it's like,
A
what? You
drive-through bottle. We have them everywhere.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, says we just go there and pick it up. And it's like, man, no way. And it's like, I've said to Bulk on a recent video call, I says, do you like cider? And he's like, oh man. He's like, I do. I says, well, I gave him a recommendation for Copperberg.
Yeah,
And he's like, oh, what's that? I says, well, Copperberg is a Swedish premium cider. It says you get it in pear, mixed fruit, raspberry, cherry, strawberry and lime. I
they're
think got a
very
blueberry
sweet.
as well. And he's like, so they've
Got the
got
winter flavour.
you got the winter flavors too. So I mean, they've came up with a mulled one for the winter time. They came up with a spiced apple for the winter time.
Yeah, we've had the spiced apple.
We've had the spiced apple one. That's
Like
really
That'd
nice.
be all right. I remember once I had a toffee apple cider from the UK somewhere, and it was phenomenal. Like, it was so good.
I mean, this is the thing. I mean, when you look at beer, it's like that you've had beer, and it's like if it's a nice day or if it's getting really cold, you could actually heat up the mulled one. You can actually
Yeah,
heat that
yep,
mulled
yeah,
wine,
mulled
mulled
cider.
cider up.
Yep,
And you can have
yep.
it warm. And
Yeah.
it's like, when did that ever
Mm.
occur? That was like a phenomenon, because usually when you think of cider, hot days, ice, cool
Yeah.
you down, enjoy your day. But to have it warm, was like, I'll need to try that.
Yeah,
Warm.
that was up.
Yeah.
I'll need to
I
try
don't
that
know
one
where
warm.
malt cider originated. It's probably like it wouldn't surprise me if it's like a Scandinavian thing or
Mm-hmm.
maybe North America, just in like your very cold, snowy sort of areas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Shane might know. He's from Canada. Mulled
Well,
cider, Shane. Is it a thing in
Canada is like
where
in
you are?
line with Scotland. So I mean, where you got Scotland, you got like the same line. You got Canada.
Cheers, brother. Thanks for chiming in.
Well, thank you, Shane. Is Bulk still here? Probably. He'd be sitting there drinking. Oh,
He's
Bolt
probably
could be
not
I
happy.
got.
The cats are into the prelim final.
I. I've got to tell you a joke, Sammy. Right now,
Yeah.
I know that you do a lot of reviews, right? Bulk and I were on a video call together. He got his glass. Now, Bulk is still watching, right? I kid you not. He got his glass. So he topped it up with, as you know, Turkey 101, right? Because that's what he loves. He put Coca-Cola in it, and he's like, it's a 5 point. This is a 5.0, definitely 5 out of 5. Like, how can you sit there and say that? It's like, I'm getting the caramel notes coming from the Coca-Cola. I was like, get scrap. It was like, bye. It's like you're taking one of my best mates, and you're just like going to do a 5.5 on a on a on a can of Coke and 101
Yeah.
Turkey. Well, Turkey was like, nah, man. He's like, go away. He's like, leave the drinking to the professionals.
Yeah, I haven't had a 101 for a while. I need to revisit it. It's not bad.
Well, he got it was I think Bob did say he got one. It was a bourbon.
Yeah.
It was like 63%. Um, wherever Bulk, if Bulk's in chat, he'd tell you what it was.
He is still here. He's in chat at the moment.
Because he's like, what malt was, well, not malt, but what was it, Bulk? So they've made the final. He was on about this yesterday. He says, "Oh,
I want to try the wild turkey rye. It's been advertised here in Australia, and I've never seen it anywhere.
he got one. It was like
It's a
63
green.
point
It's a
something."
green wrap on the bottle. I've been asking about it for so many places, and no one's even seen it. So I don't know what's going on. Because rye whiskies aren't that common here in Australia. So when I seen it advertised, I was like, oh, I want to get it.
Listen, whoever says that Jack Daniel's single barrel or anything
Oh
to do
yeah,
with Jack Daniels,
Booker, no.
that's the one. Booker,
Yeah.
no. I mean, I was like 63%. He's like, yes. I was like, Bulk, you're drinking that. He says, yeah, I'm drinking it with normal Coca-Cola. I was like, man. He says, you think you should lay off of that? But I mean, he's cut down big time on the wild turkey. I mean, I used to know him when I first started speaking to him. It was like he was going through a bottle a day, and I was like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
nah, man,
that's
come on, slow it
nuts.
down, slow it down, slow it down. So now he's like only having like 2 bottles a week, if
Yeah.
that. And I was
See,
like,
people
wow.
probably think I'm an alcoholic, but most of the time I only have one beer a day, and that's it.
Well, that's it. I mean, you're doing your beer
Yeah.
review. You're having
Yeah.
your beer review. So I mean, you're not going to sit behind the camera like, the fancy popping up. And it's like, no.
Mm.
I mean, you'll have
I mean, there probably 1 or 2 days a week I might go, fuck it, and then I'll end up having like 6 or something, but I rarely get very drunk. Like most of the time it's just more about reviews and just tasting and yeah. Cheers, Thomas. Good to see you, brother.
So to me, I mean, out of a score out as if you were to do like your 4 out of 5, to
Yeah.
me, this is like this is my upper stages. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
it's like I know what I'm wanting.
Yeah.
I mean, as I said earlier, you see a bottle of dog sitting there, like, really? But then for a couple pence more, you're getting something like this. Because I went, one of the lives I was on with you, I mean, I went round to Lidl's to go and get this. And I looked at the price of dog and it was like £1.70 odd. And I was like, well, okay, well, I'm not really wanting that. But then you're only talking like 20 pence of difference. And like, well, why not just go and get a Mcewan'S champion? It's
Yeah.
7.3%. It's a decent beer. You enjoy it.
It's a
And
good
the thing is, you
sized
don't get
bottle.
overly
I
drunk
like
from it
I
because,
like the size for the being the beer it is. It's bit bigger than normal.
I mean, the thing is, it's 500 ml.
Yeah.
It's a 500 ml bottle. So I mean, who's going to complain about 500 ml
Yeah.
for
And is it the sort of
7.3%? You know what I
beer
mean?
like when you go buy it, can you buy it in like a 6-pack or a 4-pack, or are they always just in
No,
singles?
you can buy it singly. You can buy
Yeah.
it singly.
Yeah.
So I mean, you could buy for well, basically £2, which is like four US, right? As in AUS, because I know that the Australian dollar is double our money, right? So you could sit there, so for well, 4, 8. So there's $8 your money. I think you'd probably be happy with 2 bottles a day with that because you know for a fact that you're having something, and
Yeah.
it's like if you have one, if you have another one, then you know that I've had enough. It's not a one that
Yeah.
you could continue with. I mean,
Yeah.
two of these, you'd be
Yeah. See,
crazy.
I could do a lot of beers like this. You could normally only do one, but I could do probably 2 or 3 of these quite
I
comfortably. Yeah.
mean, it's a comfortable drink to have,
The thing
and
that I
that's what
like, it wasn't too boozy. Some Scotch ales are too boozy and too rich and too harsh, whereas this one's quite. You'd say it's
it's
sort of
smooth.
it's well balanced.
I mean, it's as a whole, it's the best that I can that for the money. Because if
Yeah,
I was to go across to the pub and ask, "Oh, can I get a Belhaven Best?" It's like £3 on a pint because it's
yeah,
in a pub. But I could
yeah.
go to the shop and it's like you get them in 4 packs. So like, I'm only wanting two.
I'll have to track down one of them now.
What the
A
Belhaven
Belhaven
Best?
beer. Yeah.
I mean,
So
I think
is that a similar style to this, or is that different? Is that like a bitter?
the Belhaven Best. It's if you get it in the cans, I think it's
Yeah.
like 3.2%.
Okay.
If you get
So
in,
lower
I
even.
think if you get, it depends really because it says, I think it says like 3.2 or 4.2 in the can. I can't remember the exact number. I'll text you. I'll let you know in a message.
Oh, this is what I wanted to show you too. Do you know Real Ale Craft Beer? He's probably the one of the biggest beer channels in the world. He's based in Wales. He's got a bit
No, I
of a
don't.
reputation. A lot of people love him. A lot of people don't like him. I wanted to show you what he scored this beer out of 5.
Go on.
You ready?
Yeah. 0.25.
And he said, "Terrible, terrible beer." What a dickhead!
Well, this is why I wanted you to try it because I mean I know like if you're gonna I mean like the conversation I had with you before, I says, well, what's the worst beer you've ever tasted? And you said it
Yeah,
was some Asian thing that was like so
yeah,
ridiculously. It was like
yeah.
you dreading even
It
giving
was
it a
like
one. And I was like,
like an Asian macro, and it was shit ass. But like,
but
I'm
with
not that
this,
harsh and would score it that bad and say like terrible beer.
I mean, for what he's on, I'm sorry, but I mean, he probably doesn't even. He's probably drunk when he put that review up.
Most of the beers that he scores high are ones that people give to him. All the ones he buys himself, he pays out on them and says they're shit. And it's like, yeah, because you buy all the cheap stuff.
I
You
mean,
tight ass.
as I said, if you're wanting a cheap beer, there is nothing wrong with that. What you're
Yeah.
drinking. I mean,
Cheers,
it's like,
Brevis.
hey, Brevis. I mean, to me, it's like you're sitting there and it's like, you could, as you say, you could drink 2 or 3 of them at a time, but you're not
Yeah.
going to, like, once you've finished your glass, it's not like you're going to go and top your glass up. I mean, you're going to sit there for a little while and think, I'm going, then I'll have another one. You know what I mean? You're not going to just sit there and go, tan, tan, tan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
sort
I'm
of, I
glad
don't
that,
know, like, sometimes you'll have that one bottle of beer and, yeah, you just sort of get that nice, content sort of feeling. And, yeah, I've got that from this.
Mhm,
I've
that's what
only
I'm saying.
got a little bit left in the bottom, but I want to pour it in the glass and take a photo. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that.
I mean,
Now I'm
as
just
long
like,
as
what do I do next? Because now I'm like, I want to smash more beers.
it's like one of those beers, like you go from like, I mean, okay, the thing with Mcewan's, I mean, they do the export, but I mean, here's another beer that you could probably do as a suggestion onto this. You get a can of Mcewan's export,
7.3,
and
man. Yeah.
mm,
They just asked
it's a
what
nice.
percentage it was.
You can get a Mcewan's export and a tin of Sweetheart Stout, and have black and tan.
Yeah.
Because that's where this is like stemming from. It's like the black and tan sweetness and everything else to go along with it. You know, it's not going to be. It's like even though I finished my glass now, it's like I'm getting all these notes in my tongue. It's like you can taste like a treacle type of thing,
Yeah.
and it's like you're needing something to go along with this now. It's like, well, what is there? There's like there's nothing because it's it. It's just one beer I got left, but I would definitely have it again.
Do you know what I reckon this would go nice with? Like a really nice, like cheddar and like cheddar and biscuit. That'd be good, I
Mm-hmm.
reckon. Hmm.
I mean,
Even like even a blue cheese, if you like blue cheese, it'd be
well,
pretty
I love
cool.
blue cheese. I love blue
Yeah,
cheese. I mean, blue cheese and me are like best of friends.
yeah.
I mean, we
That's
really are.
good.
We're the best of
Because yeah,
friends.
there's
I
a lot
mean,
of people out there that can't eat it. I love it, but I reckon most of my friends don't like it. It's
I
just
mean,
too
it's
intense for them.
it's like one of those things that's acquired taste. But I mean, like you got St. Auger. I don't know if you got that across there, but you got St. Auger. You've got Danish Blue, which is Costello, I think its name is, and it's
Yeah,
like it's strong, but it's creamy, and
yeah.
it's like when you get a pack when you somebody gives you a packet of crackers, and it's like right, then you've got to go and buy the cheeses
Cheers,
yourself.
Craig, brother.
Hey, Craig, cheers, man. It's like if you get a packet of biscuits, crackers, and it's like, well, what cheeses go with them?
Hmm.
Then you're sitting there and you've got a multitude of cheeses. It's like beer. It's like
Yeah,
what goes with what? And like, oh,
yeah,
wine and cheese. It's like, well, who wants to drink wine? I'm not a wine fan. If I was to go with wine, I'd go cider. You know what?
yeah.
I just like go away from the wine, go straight
There's
to
so
cider.
many people out there too that specialize in pairing like
Mhm.
cheeses or meats with like beers and wines and stuff like that's a whole new world. But
I
yeah,
mean,
that's
to
pretty
me,
cool.
I'd have a cheeseburger with this. Cheese and
Yeah,
bacon burger, onion rings. I mean, that's the ideal beer to have with that. It's a proper pub grub. You know what I
yeah.
mean? If you're going to a pub and you ask
See,
for like,
I reckon a beer like this would go well with a steak.
mm-hmm, it's
Mm.
well steak burger or whatever. I mean,
Yeah,
it's got to
yeah,
be red meat.
yeah,
It'd have to be a red meat.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, I would
A,
even go as far as saying you
a
could probably turn that.
a char grilled kangaroo.
What? Who's saying charcoal grand kangaroo? Where's the comment section? Who's in
that's what I'm
charge?
saying. It'd go well with kangaroo. I remember I had I had a red ale at a beer festival once, and it actually had kangaroo in the brew.
I mean, look at that. The poor
Yeah.
Skippy.
There's too many Skippies. Sometimes it's a good thing.
Oh, I mean,
Cheers,
Bug was
Disco.
on
Good
about
to
that.
see you, brother. We're
I mean, Bug
drinking
was on about this. Is the mental.
a champion. I'm sure you've had one before.
Hello, Rascal.
Nah, it's Disco.
Disco. Rascal and
There's
Disco.
there's
Right, so this is
Rasco
Disco.
and Disco, but this is Disco.
Ah, okay.
Hmm.
Bug's like, sounds great, yeah, Sammy Yummo.
Bulk, have you had kangaroo before?
Oh,
There's a question for you. See, even though kangaroo's like Australian and like it is actually a source of meat that you can have. It's more pet food than human food, but there are a lot of restaurants and that serve it, or you can get it in supermarkets. Yeah, see, there you go. You said it's good as. But yeah, it's amazing how many Australians haven't tasted kangaroo.
I mean, it's, you know, when you've got, I'm not going to say like roadkill, but when you see, if you knock something down, I would never leave it there. I mean, it'd have to be taken home because it's like, well, well, of course. I mean, it depends on the condition of it. I mean, to me, it's like, well, an animal's came out, hit my car. Even though I don't drive, it's hit a car. It's like, well, I'm not going to just leave it to waste. That's coming home with me.
Yeah.
I will do something with it. It's just the way I am. I mean, you're not going to just like leave it to waste.
Yeah. I'd be the sort of person that couldn't be fucked with all the bloody butchering and all
That
that
doesn't
sort of
bother
stuff.
me because I'm a fisherman.
Yeah,
I mean, I
see,
got fishing,
I'm just not used to that sort of thing, so I just couldn't be bothered with it. But normally, if I was to hit something like that, I'd just let someone know, like maybe a friend that would be happy to take it, sort of thing. Or yeah, I mean, hitting shit in Australia on the side of the road is a very common thing. There's a lot of creatures out there that are, yeah.
See, one of my idols, right? And I know that you're an Australian, and I know that Bob's an Aussie. I don't know who else is Aussie that comes into that.
Billy Idol.
But I mean, I love, and to this day, one of my idols passed away was Steve Irwin.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I grew up with him. I did.
Yeah.
Every episode, you name it. My aunt and my uncle recorded it on VHS. I mean, they were talking like actual VHS.
Yeah. It's the same with Paul from PA Brew News. He's a massive Steve Irwin fan. Yeah.
I mean,
Everybody was.
the thing with Steve. I mean, before he had his kids, I mean, when he went from a young age, you could see him when he was getting to like in his 20s and his 30s. You know what I mean? It was like, wow, this guy's like special. I mean, you could see him growing up, watching him on TV. And then when he came up with DVDs and whatever else, he's like, oh, there's a kangaroo that's been killed. And he says, it's a daily occurrence. I mean, it's inevitable. Especially when they did the film Collision Course. They found a joey sitting in the bush. So they rescued the baby joey, and I was like, wow, okay. So it was actually like real events. You couldn't make that up if you could try.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing that was makeshift was when the crocodile, because they used two different crocs. They used Charlie. He was grumpy. He was kept in a container. Well, like a concrete block. Well, concrete blocks. Blocks. A concrete box. He was kept in one of them. Couldn't move, and he was huge. And I'm like, you need to get him out of there. And then it was like his whole demeanor to humans was just like, you enter my enclosure, you're dead. You're grub. You know what I mean? So when the
Yeah.
when they were doing collision course, it was like you could see animals' temperaments. Steve knew every one of them. I mean, the biggest one that Steve ever caught by hand that he had to keep in the enclosure was Echo or
Yeah.
Agro. One of the two. It was either Echo or Agro. It was like 15 foot long. It was like I'm sure it was Echo. I'm sure it was Echo. And it's like 15 feet. You're keeping that. It's like, yeah, I've got to. But then he did another one, which is still on YouTube to this day. He went in outback, way up north, right, to near enough the top of Australia, and he's
Yeah.
like, "We've got reports of a crocodile here, but we're not taking it back to the enclosure. We'll trap it, and we'll teach it a lesson." And I was like, "Right, okay." So the lesson was night after night, they would go on their boat with the engine and just go around in circles, and then when early morning came, Steve would take charge to see the rest of it out. He never slept until he knew that this crocodile and this engine would hear each other. The next day, they released the croc. He went back about 6 months later. As soon as that croc heard the boat, under. They want
Yeah.
nothing to do with it.
Mm.
So he was trying to teach animals. I mean,
Yeah.
Steve, I do wish he was still here. I mean, I gret my heart out when I found out when he passed away. I gret because it's like one of the good ones are gone,
Yeah.
and you'll never ever see another one, never. Because this is the thing that I know that anything is possible is live at the moment. But I was speaking to that host of that channel that's on YouTube. I mean, I talked to him for the whole 6 months before he left his job to do YouTube because he's like, I'm getting sick and tired of sitting in an office. He says, where's Bulk from? I went, Bulk's from Australia. He went, across here in the United States, we're pining for someone to be like a Steve Irwin. We're waiting for that person to do what he did and
Yeah.
have that come back to the screens because it's like we're missing that. So we're needing someone across the pond, as in your pond, to go and do a Steve Irwin. And it's like we're pining for that. We're needing that
Yeah.
back.
You just got to have that sort of character and
No,
personality and to have that confidence to work with animals, and it's probably just such a rare thing. He was like a super fella.
no, that's the thing. It's like
Because even
where's the
his
next?
son, his son does a good job, but his son's just not blokey bloke enough. His son's sort of
Yeah,
like a feminine version, slightly. Yeah,
I've noticed that with Robert, and I love
yeah,
him dear. I mean, I love them all. I really do.
yeah,
But it's like I need someone to go across there. Like there's a crocodile. I'm gonna
yeah,
wrangle it and
yeah,
throw it on a boat. You know what I mean? I'm needing
mm,
someone to do that.
yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm wanting. I'm wanting
And
someone to basically jump on the
as
back of a
more
crocodile.
as more generations go on, it's going to be more and more rare. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
a
I
lot of
mean,
those sort
where's
of
a
guys
man's
aren't
man to jump
around.
on the back of a crocodile? I mean, but where did you
Yeah.
find one? We
Mm.
had it. I was like, we need another one.
There's too many kids out there these days just playing games all
Yeah,
the time. They don't
exactly.
even get outside.
I mean, it's like you. I mean, I know that this generation are sitting behind the screen. I know that.
Cheers, Adam. Good to see you, mate.
Cheers. I mean, I know that. But to me, it's like, surely there's a child out there that says, well, I'm not wanting to sit with my mates. I want to go out and fish. I want to go out and explore things. My nephew, who goes with anything that's possible, he's a 10-year-old. His dad said to him, well, what do you want to do? He's like, well, I want to go fish. It's like, well, what about your friends on the computer? He's like, no, I want to go fish. Kevin would rather be outside.
See, there is a barrel aged version by the sounds.
Ah, cheers, Mercy Beers. Thank you.
You're
I'm
gonna
gonna
have
have
to
a look
check
out for
that out.
that then. Called Headspace.
Yeah, we were wondering about
Hmm.
that, Adam, if there's like a barrel aged version of many Scotch ales, and we thought in particular like this beer or Innocent Gun or something like that, because we thought
I
I'd
mean,
be quite nice.
as Sammy said, put it in a barrel and just like leave it alone for like 5 years, just like gathering dust, and then crack it open.
This is lush, and I mean
But the fact that you got somebody from like Australia and Scotland on the same panel.
lush. I met a road train driver in Oz, claimed he was coming out Kalgoorlie at night, hit a roo mid bounce, hopping away from the truck, and found it on top of the third trailer down when he got. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Cheers, Chad.
Hey, Chad. Oh yeah, this is one of my people. This is
Yep.
Chad's one of mine. By the way,
Oh, there you
Wendy
go.
shared
So he
your
reckons
link.
it's a pretty average barrel that they use, so that might be why Adam doesn't rate it as much as the normal version.
Wendy's just
Yeah.
put your link in Bob's chat.
Oh yeah.
So this is probably
Cool.
where they're all coming from. Me.
Well, that's why I put. I'll be honest. Chat is bliss with Stuart not being here as he is on a live panel with shortest out beer reviews. Bob read it and he said I can drop the link for it.
Me and Bob
He
work
said
as a team.
he said Brewdog do quite a few barrel aged Scotch ales. Whether they're any good or not. Some of, to be honest, Brewdog aren't what they used to be, but some of their limited edition beers and their dark beers and that are actually pretty good.
See, okay, I'm not a big beer connoisseur. I'm not a Craig. I'm definitely not a Sammy. But it's like for the amount of alcohol you get in one of these bottles for £2 out of Lidl's, I can't fault it.
Oh yeah, there you go. Being
B&M's. Okay, I'll have a look. I
I'm
will have a
intrigued
look.
now. I want to. Oh yeah, I'd love to see you try that just to see the difference.
I'll do that.
It'd be cool if you got a bottle of that, dude, and then put it next to the champion and just have a taste of both together.
This is another thing that Bob came across to me when it was on a video call. It's like, I wonder what would happen if you would. I seen it with one of your recent beer reviews, and I can't remember what one it was. I was like, well, why don't you mix both of them together? Because it was like one of them was from a different brewery that was copying somebody else's. It was like, well, why not get both of them and then combine them in the same glass and then see what you think? Because I
That's
know
what I
that's
did. I did that
is it.
though. Yeah.
And what
The
did you think of
cuvee.
it?
I call that the cuvee when you join them together.
Was it nice?
That's the,
Was it better?
that's the thing. That's the thing most of us beer reviewers do if we have like the two beers that are like similar or you're doing them together, then you'll do the review of each one, leave a little bit and then pour it in and call it a cuvee. And then, yeah. Sometimes the cuvees actually taste better than both the beers separately. Yeah. But then there's other times where it just clashes and tastes shit. So it's a little experiment that's fun.
It's like
Elevate.
breaking news: Ella Fitzgerald married Darth Vader and is now called Elevator. Elevator. I heard a joke the other day. Actually, I heard a joke the other day on Mum and Some Train Rail fans. She's an awesome person. She really is. My mate Matt. I don't think you've probably met him. You've probably seen on my chat, Sammy, amateur angler. Well, Matt put in a joke in Mum's chat says, I, I made a carrot of spaghetti. I'm going to drive it. And she says, "Don't. How are you going to manage that?" She says, "Well, I drove past her."
Yeah, they're like dad jokes.
Oh, I've got a dad joke mug, and it kills people half the time when I start reading out with them. It's like, I mean, Why was the calendar scared? It knew its days were numbered. I mean, it's
What's it
jokes like
saying? Oh
that.
yeah, oh yeah, Adam. Like you, it sounds like you've had quite a few McEwan's beers. What are your thoughts on them?
Yeah,
Like,
please.
what's your favourite out of them, and what do you think of Champion? It's just
See, the
good to
thing with
get
Champion,
different people's perspective.
I mean, McEwen's didn't
Yeah,
just come up
it's
with Champion.
definitely a proper term.
I mean,
Cuvée.
the thing
Normally,
with
it's got the little
McEwen's, it
dash
just
above
didn't
one
come
of
up
the
with
E's, I
Champion.
think.
It came up with other beers as well. I mean, you got the 60 shilling, 70 shilling, 80 shilling. You know what I mean? It's like because that's how much it was going to cost you for a drink. But to me, I would just stick with that because it is nice. So yeah, this is my mug that I got given the original.
Yeah.
Right. So this is like dad joke. Right. This is the corny comedian. Right. So how does a bee brush its hair with a honeycomb? Why why didn't you why shouldn't you trust trees? Because they're so shady. And it's like, why did a golfer need an extra pair of socks? In case you got a hole in one. What do you call singing in the shower? A soap opera. Um, why do eggs never tell jokes? They'll crack each other up. Um,
And it goes on.
and then the last one's like, why is the calendar so afraid that news days were numbered? And it's like, you know what's coming.
Is that my
No, that's when you mean me.
Yeah, Joey, we had an advertising slogan for the Northern Territory, which is up north of Australia in the centre. And they used to say, "See you in the NT." And it was like C in big letters, U, and then NT. And you'd see it on like people's like stickers on the back of their utes and that. And they got in a lot of trouble for it, but yeah, it still kept going. It's like they weren't doing anything wrong. And yeah,
I mean,
like people would be wearing t-shirts with it on there and getting in, like old ladies would be going off saying, "Why have you got that written on your shirt?"
it was one of
Yeah,
the
it was
things that
pretty
happened in the 2000, it was a 2014 vote or something. It was like 2016 vote. It was round about there. That they 2 years, and in Aberdeenshire in Scotland, they actually went round in a sea voting Tory, and then
yeah,
somebody's like, you had this like yellow spot, which is like for like the National Party. They were like
yeah,
yellow. So you had this like sea of blue, and then somebody went like this, got a hold of that photo, went UNT.
yeah. Yeah, shit like that's funny.
I was like, no
So
way, stop it. It was like funny, but
yeah,
well,
so
McCune's have.
Adam's saying pretty much what we were talking about earlier, that McEwan's now is about as Scottish as his left nut.
It started
Yeah, I
off in
thought that
Scotland.
I was trying to work out, dude, where they're brewed and mainly owned, and it looked like they had a few different sites. And then when I seen it was Carlsberg Marston's, I'm like, oh, well, no wonder.
I mean, it
But I
was
just thought,
brewed.
I just wanted
It
to
started
know
off
where
in
it was
Scotland.
from originally, and yeah, it was Edinburgh, and then it had like a heap of different breweries that had been associated.
I mean, the thing with Innis and Gunn, their brewery had a fire. Their brewery had a fire, and it was like
Yeah,
it took a while for them to rebuild it. But I mean, not an issue with them. They make good beer for being here anyway. but I mean, I would always take a Bellhaven over them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just my personal preference.
At work, every time there was a holiday, they would scream out, "See you next Tuesday," and laugh. This is Joey. There you go. Here's one for you. Is Scottish man drunk?
No. My name is Stuart, by the way. My name is Stuart. I've got my own YouTube channel called Stuart the Fish Whisperer.
Oh, so Nunya. I thought Nunya was from your. Like I thought they'd come from you.
Oh yeah, Sammy. Wendy's got this pen here, right? Mine's a pint, right? So basically, the world's booziest person, mine's a pint, right? This is a pen. I don't know how well it's going to show up on screen, but I'll turn it slowly. There's like a guy. You see the face. Oh, wait a minute. I know the light's bad. So you got the guy's face. You got the guy's face at the top, which is like here.
Yep.
Where my finger is. Then you got his body, and then you've got him holding. It's like he's holding a bottle. He's holding a bottle, and then it says on the bottom of it, "Make mine a pint," which is like the green writing.
Yeah.
And it says, "The world's booziest person, make mine's a pint." And he's like, "Hick."
Yeah, another bit is let's get
Yeah, and other bit is like,
let's get legless.
let's get legless. So that's written on there. Let's get legless.
I love the term legless. Yeah, Adams. Both my bottle and Stewie's bottle had Wolverhampton on the back, so yeah, that's where we just assumed their main brewery.
The only difference between Sammy's bottle and mine was the date.
Yeah, mine was like 3 months older.
Sammy's is in the 31st of March. Mine's is the 30th of June.
Yeah. So Adam's saying Bellhaven is less Scottish than Mcewan'S is?
Well, it's meant to be brewed in Scotland.
Whereabouts in the UK are you from, mate? Joey's shouting out your channel.
Thank you. S4S. Them dudes can party. Yeah, we can. I don't party though. I only do fly fishing and fly tying and sea fishing. Legend, brother. Watch this. It'll be saying P.
About time you turned into a beer tuber.
Stuart, my boy. There you go.
His description of the notes were pretty good, Paul. We could make a beer tuber out of him. He was talking about his love for Steve Irwin before too, and I mentioned you. Oh, he's sent. Yeah, actually, I think we've had this discussion before, somewhere in the Midlands, possibly. Yeah, no surprise there. All the way.
I got to that. I do love Paul's PA brew news. I actually got him onto my brother, who I always give a shout out to, who is here. Anything is possible, and here.
Yeah.
Anything is possible.
Yeah.
I do shout him out on every live I go into or anywhere, because his channel and his 2 kids that he got, honestly, he's just amazing.
Yeah.
He really is. And the thing with Bob and I, we're working together. He'll go live, I'll go after him. I'll sit and tie flies, but it's for people to come into this is the thing. Please come across to me. If you are a content creator, I try and help people grow. I don't ask nothing for it. All I say is you come in and just say, "Oh, I'm from Short and Stout Beer Reviews." I'll automatically there's Sammy. Like, okay. I mean,
Yeah.
Sammy and I are great friends. You know what I mean?
It works
Even though,
well in your way too. Like you help people grow, and then you get more subscribers from it as well. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
good the way you do it.
And then Sammy comes across, and it's like, oh, go and connect to Sammy because sometimes I'm on panel with him if I'm having a beer with him or something. And today's just been one of those days. It's like he said, I've got something for you, Stewie. And it's like, oh, you've got a champion. He says, well, my champion's in the fridge. Can we do a stream get together? He's like, yeah, this would be ideal. And it's not meant to be a hangout, but it's like we're just like discussing like what we've drunk and
Yeah.
um taking it from there.
Whenever I read a newspaper, I always went straight to the back for the sport.
It was like, what the
Most of the time, I
exactly?
couldn't give a
I didn't
fuck
care
about
about the
the
front
news.
page. I was like, what's happening at the back? So it's like uh you get some
Glass
weird
house.
titles like one and done. It was like, what do you mean one and done? It was like, well, one goal
Yeah.
wonder and done. It was like pointless. And then you start going through, oh, this happened in darts, and then this happened in the snooker, and then you get your horsey racing articles, and like, well, what horse does well?
Yeah, horses for courses. Sammy's friends with the beer tubers who were shunned by society. I don't know what he's referring to there, but it's funny. I've got 2
I've got two
barrel-aged bruised
bottles.
and proper glassware in the trunk. Oh, yeah? Fuck yeah. Craigie boy. It's good
Honestly,
hanging out
Craig,
with you
brother,
the other night.
you're between you and Tanner and what was it between you and Tanner and what's his name? That was who's the other guy that was on panel the other time that you were on? Oh, what was his name? Jay? Was it Jay? Jacksman? Jacksman? J, J,
Oh,
is
Jagman.
it Jacksman? Yeah,
Jagman.
Jake man. I was like,
J-A-G.
yeah,
Yep.
Jackman.
Yeah, I couldn't
I
remember
was
who
like,
was there when you were
just,
there. You've been on a few. I
I mean,
reckon you've
that
been
was
on a
fun.
couple of panels now. You were
Well,
definitely on one
I
where
was in the
Craig was there.
comments. I did one when Craig was up. I was
Yeah.
up. It was sort of like five
And I
of us, and
reckon
I was going around
were you
living.
on one when Paul was there?
I
PA?
don't think I've
I
been
thought
up on the panel when Paul's been there. I don't
yeah,
think I have.
yeah,
But I've got Paul since he's in Pennsylvania. It's like, well, I've got
yeah,
great channels in Pennsylvania. Bob
yeah.
being one of them. Come across and say hello, and he's like, all right, okay, perfect. I'll do that.
Yeah, that's what I thought, Adam. I'm thinking Nunya's originally from Birmingham. Cheeky bastard.
Thank you, Bulk.
So yeah,
But yeah, I mean,
what I might do, I might wrap it up because I just don't want it to go on for too long. For your score, would you give it? Would you say a 5, a 4.9?
to
I
me,
know
I'd
you're a
give it a
huge fan.
4.8, 4.9 somewhere. I'd be about 4.9 for me because
Yeah,
it's cheap enough, and for the amount of alcohol you get in it, it's not overly powerful, but you know it's there,
yeah,
and it is tasty.
yeah. And we both got similar notes. It was good to hear too someone that's like inexperienced sort of palate coming up with the same stuff I was saying. And
I
like
mean, I
you
wouldn't
even
say it was
said the treacle,
toffee.
like the
I would
treacle sort of yeah,
I wouldn't say toffee, but definitely treacle. It was like
yeah,
definitely the treacle notes were in
yeah.
there.
And like that, we both got that sort of nutty vibe once we like not on the nose,
Yeah,
but
I'm
once we
still getting it
tasted
now. Even though my glass
it.
is empty, I'm still getting the nutty vibe now. It's like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just on the tip of the tongue sort of thing. Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Hmm. would you like to shout out like what you've got coming up on your channel or any other friends' channel?
I've got fly tying coming up if anybody is interested in fishing. Also, Bob is live at the moment. I am his OGGM. This is a little stab at Bulk because Bulk is Bob's OG member, right?
Yeah.
And this is a little thing to me. I moderate channels, and I am damn good at it, right? I have got no problem with anybody. Even if I've had a problem in the past, I will still drop your link in chat because I'm not bitter. I'm not a better person. I just think what's been done in the past, my end, if you've got a problem with me, it's like I'll still share you out because you still have to grow regardless. Bob's live at the moment, as I said, so I'll be in there. I'll be going fly tying after Bob is finished. I might just leave it to Monday actually, because that's like a start of the week type of thing.
Then you can.
And then
You can do that. Don't be too nice. I got blood donors on Monday.
and then basically I'm doing an order for him at the moment. So it's like after he's finished, it's like I go live. So I try and connect to everybody, and everybody's welcome over at my end. So that's what I've been basically doing.
Cool. Yeah, it's good having you on, and yeah, you've been very supportive. So yeah, it's always a
Sammy,
joy hanging out with you.
I mean, this is before you end, but it's like these things that I'm tying up at the moment, and they're
Yep.
just different colors. They're
Yep.
called mop flies.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm busy doing, but just different colors. It's like the same thing over and over again, but I'll just like change it up a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always a pleasure to have great company, which yourself and people in chat like Paul and Craig and Bulk and Mersey.
Yeah, it's a
You
good
know what I mean?
community.
So
And it's
I
good
mean,
too when you see people
we're a
that
happy
aren't beer
family.
people sort of involved. Like, yeah, because we're always,
I mean, I do
we're
like
not only discussing beer, we're talking about like sport, music, like
Mhm.
stuff like Steve Irwin. Yeah, it's like, yeah,
I mean, it's like I mean, Bulk's like that to me is like when the season was on the go at the AFL is like, oh, don't tell Sammy about the score, and I was like, well, you just told me because I was on a video call. I could go into
yeah,
chat, and it's like Sammy crack open another one, and he's like, oh,
yeah.
"Isn't that bad?" And it's like, "Yep."
Yeah, it
And
was a
Sammy,
terrible season for us. Hmm.
I mean, I'm surprised Geelong are still in it. I've been surprised they got to the
Yeah,
final.
no, well, it's been one of those seasons. So yeah, there's teams that probably didn't deserve to be up there that are and could possibly win it. So yeah, it's very, very different this year. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as far as my stuff goes, tomorrow I might do a big imperial stout, possibly. I'm probably going to be on other people's hangouts, I'd say, in the morning. I'm not sure who's going. But then on Monday, I'm going to do Cooper's Sparkling Ale for Macro Monday. So Cooper's Sparkling Ale is sort of like it's a specific macro in Australia, and it's a style that's only really done here. It's a beer that I'm not a big fan of, but to be honest, I just want to do it to revisit it and see how it goes. It's certainly not going to get a big high score or anything. I just come across a can of it today in the supermarket, and I'm like, yep, I'm going to review that.
I mean,
As
I will
far
be
as
honest.
like, yeah, dual reviews go, I don't really have any plans. Me and Josh from last beer, we've both got some Three Fontaine, which is Belgian white sour beer. We're just trying to gather up a few people to do like a joint stream, so that'd be pretty cool. But
One
yeah,
thing I'll say before you end, Sammy, is the fact that that tin with the guy upside down that was funny.
yeah, yeah,
I was like, there's Bulk sleeping
yeah,
on his head.
Yeah, that was only during the week, wasn't it? That was like the yeah, it was an Australian brewery with an English brewery. Yeah. Yeah. No, well,
But
thanks for joining, dude.
don't,
We'll wrap it
whatever
up
you
there.
do, don't get another seagull because I've got a short on my channel actually. Like one flew into my fishing line, so I'm trying to
Yeah.
avoid seagulls at all costs.
Yeah. Oh, I heard when Craig joined my stream the other night, that was the first thing you heard in the background, the seagulls going off.
Damn birds. Anyway, blessings everybody, and have a great rest of your Saturday and or Sunday wherever you are.
Yeah, so Sunday
And
for me.
well, have a
Yeah, thanks
pleasant
everyone
Sunday,
for
son.
chiming in. It's been a joy, dude. We'll have to do something like this again. Try and get
Oh,
another Scottish
definitely.
beer.
I'll try and get hold of
Mm.
one of the head spaces. I'll see if I
Yeah,
can try and
yeah,
do with one of them.
yeah, yeah, cool.
See if you can try and get one too.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see how it goes. Okie dokes. Thanks, everyone. And we will see you again
Bye.
soon. And not sure what I'm doing after this, maybe a hangout, but yeah. Anyway, laters.
Laters. Bye.
It always takes a while to wrap up.